There's this saying I really love: doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Think about that. Most times, it's not the lack of talent, skills, or even opportunity that holds us back. It's doubt whispering, "Are you sure you can do this?" In our last episode, we asked Namibi this, exploring identity, doubt, and daring to become. But here's the truth: self discovery is only the first step. What comes next is ownership, action, and the courage to be seen. And that's where we're going today. Beyond doubt, owning the becoming and daring to act. Welcome to another episode of Talk to Talk with Uchepuh. I am your host, Uchepuh, and with me today is Hassy. And Hassy, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, so it's nice to be here. My name is Hassy Bonnet. I'm the CEO of Hassy's Kilishi, and I'm into peace building and conflict transformation. It's nice to be with you today on Talk with Uchepuh.
Thank you very much, Hassy, for having the time to be with us today. Discuss owning the becoming and daring to act. And I would jump right into it. Owning your becoming, right? So, the first question is, what does owning your becoming mean to you personally? And once you've discovered who you are, how do you build confidence and stay consistent with that identity?
Okay, so thank you very much for the question. Honestly, for me, owning your becoming simply means taking full responsibility of what you are becoming and of what I am becoming. So this also goes further to say that you need to think about your growth in business, your mistakes, and lessons learned over time. And with Hassas Kilishi, I've really learned the power of consistency for you to have the growth you want to see in business. You have to mastermind the power of your consistency. Over time, I've learned that satisfying my customers is my priority, keeping to the promise of my brand, and making sure that I'm intentional. Even as I grow in my business, let me be intentional and also maintain, the quality of my products and then quantity at the same time also the service delivery. I'm making sure that my customers are satisfied with my products and will always want more.
So, to the next question. Some people can relate. Sometimes growth would need us to reintroduce ourselves. Have you ever experienced that moment of saying, "This is who I am now"?
Yeah, when I started this business, that is the Hassas Kilishi business, at a point and in the beginning, some people thought, this is just someone selling Kilishi. But along the line and over time, I got to realize that my business was not just selling within Kaduna State, but I was making sales even outside Kaduna State. I was making sales in Abuja, Lagos, and even outside the country. So at that moment, when the business started expanding, I had to reintroduce myself and come back, look at myself in the mirror and tell myself that, hey, this business is not just an ordinary business and it's a brand that is going somewhere to happen. So I had to see myself as an entrepreneur and someone who is building that brand that represents our culture. And for me, that was the turning point.
All right. So, thank you very much for exploring that and answering it in a very simple way where people can actually relate, especially people who are diversing into, becoming entrepreneurs and also holding a 9 to 5 job or even growing a brand of their own. So let's look at beyond doubt, right? Doubt doesn't vanish after self-discovery. For you, how does it show up now and how do you manage it? Can you share maybe just one small bold step that you took that helped you shift from self belief to real action?
Okay, so for me, doubts will always come in form of discouragement. It also comes in form of disappointment and all that. But for me, I realized that you have to keep on reminding yourself of how you started. What is your goal? Where do you expect to see your business in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And when I started, at some point, um, you know, doubts started showing up. When business begin to slow down, you're not making sales, you begin to think as if you're not doing the right thing, or you ask yourself some questions like, where am I getting it wrong and all that. But when you think about where you want to see yourself within the nearest possible future, where do you want to see your business? You see doubt and you see some of these challenges as just a phase that you will definitely overcome. So I'll give you an example. Um, at one point, I had to take a decision that helped my business, that helped shape my business, and that helps me to make more sales without necessarily stressing myself like I was doing when I initially started. So I started this business in 2021 in July. So I was stuck between balancing business and work. Sometimes I'll be in the office and then I'll be receiving calls from people. They need my products. And at that point, I was the only one running the business. So I was a marketer, I was the business owner at the same time. And it was really kind of overwhelming for me. Um, it was affecting my work in a way. So I had to think of a way, I had to devise a way that I can continue business at the same time maintaining the output in my workplace. So what I did was this. I decided to identify places where my customers are, and I went around to stores and shops, and I had this partnership agreement with them, and I started supplying to various shops. And when I started supplying to those shops, of course, we had an agreement on a specific percentage of profits that will be going to those shops. And when I started supplying to them, it made the business easier for me. And so anytime someone calls me, they need a kilishi, what I'll just ask them is of their location. And then when they tell me their location, I'll tell you, okay, you can pick up at so store. Let's say, for instance, you're staying in Barna, and you give me your address, I'll link you up to the closest place that you can get kilishi. So for me, that was a point that I had to make a decision that really improved my business and made the work easier for me. So I was able to strike a balance between my work and business.
Talking about or talk about work-life balance here, I could see that you found a way or solution to balance the entrepreneurial side and the 9 to 5 side of your business and also yourself. There's this balance that you've created, and I actually like it. I think people who would listen to this are going to also get a cue on how to balance their lives outside of their jobs and what they're doing on the side. So fear is, fear. There's always fear. Fear is always a factor in things that we do. Fear of failure or public judgment stops so many people, from going into what they want to do or what they want to achieve, even on the journey. How do you personally push through that fear?
Okay, so I often tell myself that fear doesn't stop failure. So at the same time, doing nothing is what causes failure. I've had some setbacks in this business, but I see setbacks as lessons. I see them as an opportunity for you to draw back to the drawing board, come back to the drawing board, re strategize, and see where you made the mistake and see how you can improve. So I focus on progress, not perfection. So, and that's the mindset that keeps me moving. That's what keeps me motivated. And, I just believe in myself that in whatever I do, mistakes are lessons. And when you're able to overcome some of these mistakes, you do better when you see challenges come up at you again.
Okay, that's actually, you're very correct. If you don't do anything, whatever the result is, and if you still do, nothing actually stops failure. For me, I even think that failure actually gives you that platform to grow more because you get to see what you didn't do right. You've experienced it, and then it now gives you another perspective. It just opens the door for another solution to catapult you into something else or something greater. All right. We're now moving to being seen. Why do you think so many people still hide, even when they know who they are? They've discovered themselves. Okay, this is what I want to become. This is what I want to do. But they are still, hiding. But why do you think people do that?
Okay. So for me, fear and being scared, it's one thing that you have to overcome when doing business or whatever you're doing. Because whatever you do, you need to be visible. Visibility is part of growth. So if you're scared of failure or you're scared of being judged or you're trying to be perfect, then you will not grow. So you have to disabuse your mind from that mindset of judgment. People will definitely judge you. So until you conquer that fear of judgment, you will not grow, you will not make progress. So I believe that what do you call it? Fear of being seen is something you need to overcome, because visibility, like I said, is part of growth. And for it to grow, you have to make yourself seen. You have to be out there. You cannot be in hiding and you're expecting people to know that this is what you do and this is who you are. So you have to be seen.
True. There's this thing they always say to us, like when you want to maybe, give a public speech or you want to speak to a large crowd of people. Some people tell you to look above the heads of people so you will not get that stage fright. So you be confident. So I feel like even with this, being visible, building visibility. You have to act as if no one is seeing you. Just do your thing. Shut your ears, shut your eyes, just do you. Learn through the process. The journey is not always meant to be smooth. Moving on to the next. How do you strike balance between vulnerability and visibility without feeling overexposed?
So for me, I share my story from the place of purpose and not pressure. So I show people the process, the passion, the brand, the culture, and also the quality in service delivery and what I have there to give out to the people. So my slogan is top notch taste. So I stay to what I promise to give people out there, which is that taste they want to have, the spices, and everything that concerns the brand has to be satisfactory. So for me, you need to stay authentic. You need to keep to your promise. You need to also protect what is personal. So there's something I do. I try to differentiate Hassy's kilishi from Hassy, because these are two different entities. When you see me operating at Hassy, address me as Hassy. When I'm operating as Hassy's kilishi, don't address Hassy's kilishi as Hassy, because these are two different. I can understand that your brand represents you and you represent your brand, but sometimes you need to know that your personal life needs to be separate from your business, because there are things you do that will affect the brand directly or indirectly. So what I can say is, you have to show people the process. You have to be passionate about what you're doing, and then making sure that you stay authentic no matter what.
All right. I think this is a part where storytelling comes in because people love to hear story. People love to be updated. People want to feel connected, right? So you have to give them that so they will connect with your brand. They will connect with what you're doing. In the same way, just like you said, seeing yourself from the brand. The brand is the brand. You are you, but you're just the face of the brand. You're what pushes the brand, but you're separating yourself from it. That's really something I think people should get from this also. So, moving on to the next question. In your view, what's the best way for young people to show their value to the world authentically, not faking it? Everything, most things you see on social media, most things you see people doing, they are trying to chase the fake life. I don't know, they're just going towards fake it till you make it. I don't know if there's a correlation or something, but some people just want to not be authentic. They just want to cover it up, you know. I don't know how to say it further, but then can you just tell us how you think young people, youths in particular, can show their value authentically to the world?
So for me, in my own view, I would like to say that you need to start from where you are and stay true to yourself and believe in yourself. You need to believe that you can start something small and grow big in life. Because there's a saying that if you're feeling too big to start something small, then you'll be too small to handle big things, because you will not have the capacity to withstand the pressure that comes along with business. So I want to say that you need to believe in yourself. You need to be consistent in what you do. Let your work speak for itself, and people will see you for your value through the results that you're able to present on the table. And that is the quality of your business, the quality in your delivery, the quality of your products, and how you relate with them generally. So I also want to say that relationship counts. That's something that's really worked for me. I I make sure have a very good relationship with my customers, with my friends, and with anything that relates to the business, because these are your this is like your powerful tool for referral. There is one thing that works well for me, which is the power of referral. When people refer you, when people speak about your business in a positive light, be rest assured that it will go faster, it will bring about growth and expansion for you than all the publicity or all the branding that you're doing. There's so much power in referral because people believe not just in what you say, but what you do and what you've experienced. So if someone tells another person about your business, this product is good, it is hygienically made, and it is something I feel you should try. Believe you, it will work faster and better than you just doing an advert and trying to convince people to buy your product. So uh, testimonial reviews will take you far in business than just relying on word of mouth.
That was really, really powerful. Sorry, Hassy, can you hear me? Having feedbacks. Okay, so that was really powerful, and I really enjoy it. And I agree with you. Yes, words of mouth pushes a business or a service further, even a brand. You say you are delivering something. This is what you do. This is who you are. This is what you can do. And then you're giving it your all, and people see what you put into it and how your delivery of the service or the product is, of course, they're going to give good feedbacks. And with these feedbacks, because of the experience, I think I tell people this: you're selling an experience, whether a service or a product. The experience is what people are buying, and that is what the way they feel from that experience is what they are going to tell their neighbor. The neighbor, after experiencing the same thing, tells another person. That experience becomes a storytelling and becomes a testimonial, just like you said. And people, believe what they see, what they hear from people who are closest to them than you, the brand or the provider of the service or producer of the product. So, all that you've said, I really enjoyed it, and I hope that people who are going to watch this are going to learn a lot about, being their authentic selves, making sure that even if it feels like they cannot do it, sometimes that doubt creeps into their minds. They would, put that positivity in their head that I need to achieve this. This is where I have to be, just like you say. You know where you want to go to. You know what you want to achieve in a certain period of time. Just start. Start small. Start from somewhere. Start something. Start doing something. Even if it's just start putting a little bit of actions. They say drops of water makes an ocean, or is a sea. I really don't know how that statement is, but what we've discussed here and hearing you talk about these things are actually is actually going to help people resonate better. And as we're closing, here's one thing I think I've taken away from all of this: identity is not just who you are, it's who you consistently show up as, just like you said, consistency, and then separating yourself from the brand. This is the brand, this is me. So, my challenge to everyone watching is simple. This week, what's one bold step you take to go beyond doubt? Thank you for joining us on Talk to Talk with the Uchepuh. And to Hassy, thank you for sharing your journey and insight with us. Until next time, keep daring, keep becoming. See you on the next one. Thank you, Hassy.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.